217 days, 2 families, every single one returned him. They said this 150-pound cane Corso was too much, too big, too clingy, too intense. Then a 27-year-old woman, 600 miles from home and dreading her first Christmas alone, walked past his kennel on a Thursday afternoon and stood there for 6 minutes without saying anything. What Duke did on Christmas Eve at 11:47 p.m. and what the camera caught every night at 3:17 a.m. proved every single one of those families completely wrong. She adopted him on a Thursday in September. By Christmas Eve, she hadn't spent a single night alone. Not one, not even close. Lauren Mitchell was 27 years old, 8 months into her first real job, and 600 miles from everyone she had ever known. She worked as a licensing coordinator at a mid-sized music publishing company in Nashville, Tennessee. Steady paycheck, good work, a one-bedroom apartment on the 3rd floor of a building she liked, but never quite felt at home in. She had coworkers she liked, she made plans on weekends, she told herself regularly and with great conviction that she was fine. But October came, then November, and with November came the quiet kind of dread that builds slowly in people who are doing everything right and still feel at the end of a long day like something important is missing, and they can't name what it is. Lauren had grown up in a house where there was always noise, 3 brothers, a father who kept the TV on from 6 a.m. until everyone went to bed, a mother who cooked dinner with music playing loud enough to hear from the driveway. Silence in Lauren's family was something that happened during church and funerals. In her 3rd floor Nashville apartment, silence was the default setting. Every evening, every morning, every night. She started passing Millside Animal Rescue on her way home from work every Thursday. She told herself she was just curious. She told herself she was just looking. The first time she saw Duke, she stood at the kennel for 6 minutes without saying anything. He was a 150-pound black cane Corso with wrinkled face, white patches across his chest, and an expression that looked from a distance like he was permanently unimpressed by everything and everyone around him. He had been at Millside for 217 days. 2 families had tried. The first lasted 11 days and surrendered him with a handwritten note that said he was too clingy, too big, too loud when left alone. The second family kept him for 3 weeks and returned him on a Saturday morning, citing their neighbors' complaints about a dog that size in an apartment building. Nobody had tried a 3rd time. The shelter coordinator, a woman named Patrice, was honest about it. He's not mean, he's never snapped at anyone, he just needs to be somebody's whole world. He doesn't do well with half measures. Lauren looked at Duke. Duke looked at Lauren. He was standing at the front of his kennel, absolutely still, watching her with those dark amber eyes, the way a very large and very patient thing watches you when it has already decided you're the one and is simply giving you a moment to catch up. She adopted him that same Thursday, September 11th. She didn't plan it. She had nowhere to put a 150-pound dog, no yard, no dog door, no experience with a breed that her coworker Marcus called a bear that went to college. The first week was a negotiation between 2 beings who both believed the other one had unrealistic expectations of personal space. Duke walked into Lauren's apartment and immediately claimed the center of the couch. Not the left side, not the right side, the exact center, occupying 3 cushions and leaving Lauren a 6-inch strip on either end that she accepted without negotiation. He walked into her kitchen while she made dinner, pressed his 150-pound body against the backs of her legs, and didn't move until the food was plated. He sat outside the bathroom door with his chin flat on the floor and waited, not whining, not scratching, just present, like a guard posted outside a door that he had personally decided needed guarding and who intended to take the assignment seriously. He stood up on his hind legs when she came home, every single time, fully upright, both paws on her shoulders, his enormous wrinkled face level with hers, looking at her the way a person looks at someone they've been waiting for. The first time it happened, she stumbled backward into the doorframe and said something she wouldn't normally say out loud. By week 2, she just leaned forward and let him. He had one rule about mornings. Every day at 6:03 a.m. She checked the time enough times to confirm it was always 6:03, never 6:02, never 6:04. He would walk from his spot on the floor beside her bed, place his chin on the mattress exactly 6 inches from her face, and exhale, one long, slow, deliberate breath. Not a bark, not a whine, just that sound that said in completely clear and unambiguous terms, "I'm aware that you're still sleeping. I've decided that's finished now." Lauren's coworker Marcus told her she was going to need a bigger apartment. Her landlord sent a reminder about the building's weight limit for pets, which Lauren acknowledged internally and placed in a drawer she did not open again. A woman at the dog park asked Lauren if Duke was safe around children, then didn't wait for an answer before pulling her own dog to the other side of the path. Lauren stopped going to that park.
She found different parks, quieter ones, usually just her and Duke and whatever the light was doing at that hour. Those mornings became the best part of her week, and she knew it, and she didn't tell anyone. Still watching and haven't subscribed yet? Honestly, that stings a little. Stories like this don't reach the people who need them without your help. Hit subscribe. You'll want to see where this goes. Here's something most people don't know about cane corsos. The name itself comes from the Latin cohors, guardian. These dogs were not bred for aggression. They were stationed at the edges of Roman estates to watch the perimeter, to stand between what mattered and whatever came for it in the dark. They were bred to decide what was worth protecting and then commit to that completely. 2,000 years of that instinct doesn't simply disappear. It changes shape, and Duke had spent 217 days in a concrete kennel at Millside Animal Rescue, waiting for something worth protecting. He found it. The first bad night happened in November. Lauren had been on the phone with her mother for 40 minutes, trying to piece together a Christmas plan. The flights were expensive, the timing didn't work, her brothers were driving to her aunt's house this year, and the whole thing had shifted in a way that meant Lauren was going to spend her first Christmas away from home, genuinely, completely away. She hung up the phone, sat down on the kitchen floor with her back against the cabinet, the way she had as a kid when things felt too large to manage standing up, and cried quietly into the sleeve of her sweatshirt. Duke came in from the living room before she heard him move. He didn't press against her legs, he didn't circle. He walked directly to where she was sitting, turned his back to her side, and sat down. Then he leaned, slow and deliberate, 150 pounds settling against her ribcage like something that understood, without being told, exactly how much weight a person needs to feel held. He didn't move for 26 minutes. Lauren eventually stopped crying. She wasn't sure exactly when, she just became aware, at some point, that her breathing had evened out and her hand was resting in the fur between his shoulder blades, and the apartment didn't feel as empty as it had before he walked in. Christmas Eve came on a Tuesday. Lauren had a small tree, 3 feet, sitting on the kitchen table, with lights she had bought at Target on sale the previous January and finally had a reason to use. She had cooked a real dinner for herself, the kind that takes 2 hours and uses every pot in the kitchen. She ate it standing at the counter, because sitting at the table alone felt like too much of a statement about the evening. Duke sat beside her the entire time. He watched her cook with the full, focused attention of someone who had been personally assigned to supervise a project and was taking the responsibility seriously. When she carried her plate to the counter, he followed. When she set it down, he placed his chin on the counter beside it, just there, and looked up at her with those amber eyes while she ate. Every single bite. At 11:47 p.m. on Christmas Eve, Lauren sat down on the floor in front of the little tree and called her mother. The call lasted 4 minutes because her mom was falling asleep on the couch at her aunt's house and could barely keep a sentence together. When she hung up, the apartment was quiet. She sat there for a while looking at the lights. Duke walked over from the couch, stood up on his hind legs with both paws on her shoulders, held that position for 4 full seconds while she looked directly at his enormous, wrinkled, ridiculous face, and then came back down and pressed the full weight of his head on her collarbone and stayed. They sat in front of that 3-foot Christmas tree until almost 1 a.m., not performing anything for anyone. Just 2 creatures who both needed, more than they'd probably admitted out loud, to not be alone that night. Lauren set up the security camera in January after a series of car break-ins in her neighborhood prompted the building manager to send a strongly worded email about vigilance. She pointed it at the front door and the hallway, and then forgot about it for 3 weeks. She found the footage by accident while clearing old files on a Sunday afternoon. Every night at 3:17 p.m., Duke got up from his spot on the floor beside Lauren's bed. He walked to the front door and stood completely still for 12 seconds, ears forward, body locked, reading something in the air that Lauren couldn't hear from the bedroom. Then to the window that faced the street, where he stayed for 19 seconds. Then back through the hallway that connected the living room and bedroom, where he paused for 8 seconds and listened. Then back to his spot on the floor beside Lauren's bed, where he lowered himself down without a sound and closed his eyes. 3 minutes and 47 seconds, every night, without variation, without a sound, while Lauren slept, completely unaware that any of it was happening.
He had been doing it since week 1. Some people see a 150-pound cane Corso and make up their mind before they've finished looking. They see the jaw, the size, the way he takes up a doorframe and makes the room feel different. They change their route on the sidewalk. They ask questions they already believe they know the answers to. They don't see what Lauren sees. They don't see the dog who decided on a Thursday in September in Kennel 12 at Millside Animal Rescue that a woman 600 miles from home was hers to watch over, and he was going to take that seriously for as long as she needed. They don't see the dog who walks the perimeter every night at 3:17 p.m. so she can sleep without knowing she doesn't have to worry. Who stood up on his hind legs in front of a 3-foot Christmas tree at midnight so she didn't have to sit there alone. Who presses his full 150 pounds against her side when the world gets heavy and she needs something solid that won't move. Duke is 2 years old now. He still claims the exact center of the couch. He still stands up on his hind legs every time Lauren walks through the door, both paws on her shoulders, face level with hers, absolutely certain this is the correct and appropriate way to say hello. Marcus from work came over for dinner last month and spent 20 minutes sitting on the kitchen floor, letting Duke lean against him. "He's not what I expected," Marcus said. Lauren smiled. "He never is." She was 600 miles from home and 217 days too late to find him, but she found him. And on a Thursday afternoon in September at Kennel 12 at Millside Animal Rescue, he found her first. Some dogs don't need training to know what their job is. They just need someone to stop walking and stay. Would you have taken him that Thursday? Tell me in the comments.